I have all kinds of copyrighted material behind me. So, all right. So, Hugh Davidson, Larry Dorf, and Rachel Ramras, congratulations on your new show, Nobodies, which you've created and star in. Tell us a little bit about the show. What is this show about?
Three.
Well,
it's about the thing. It's about three people who thought they were the same as the rest of their funny contemporaries at Groundlings, where we all were together, and who have found as in the intervening years, our careers are not quite lining up with theirs. And we have jobs in the kids business, but we long to get out of it. And we get ourselves in hairy situations by kind of leveraging our friendships, and the intersection between friendships and leaning on that to try and get what you feel like is what you deserve is sort of what the show's about.
And these characters, Hugh, Larry, and Rachel, are us.
Yeah.
And this is our real life, pretty much.
Well, yeah. How much of your own experiences did you guys draw upon when you were coming up with these episodes?
Exclusively our own experiences.
Yeah.
There's no imagination. I think the only imagined thing is when Rachel blurts out that Melissa McCarthy will do the movie, because the three of us really actually went on many pitches with that very idea, Mr. First Lady, and did not receive money or any interest. And we really did pitch it to Ben. We had an uncomfortable lunch with him to try and get his wife, Melissa, to be in it. It's so much from our real lives.
It was easy and fast to write.
Well, it looks like there were no hard feelings about that pitch, because Ben Falcone and Melissa McCarthy are executive producers on the show. So how instrumental were they in shaping the series or getting the series to TV land?
I bet we would still be actual nobodies if they were not involved. So,
yeah, they were very instrumental. They didn't like the Mr. First Lady movie idea that we pitched to them, but they did like this because Ben Falcone was a writer with us for a while on the kids' cartoon that we were writing.
It was right before Bridesmaids.
It was right before and he got on Bridesmaids, and then his career.
He dumped us.
He dumped us. He had a better career path than us. So he kind of understood, and Melissa did too. They understood the worlds we wanted to explore.
And I think that you talk so slow.
Well.
But I also think that they were instrumental because they vouched for us, and I think the fact that TVLAM let us star in the show instead of casting people to play us, despite the fact that we didn't have long acting resumes. Larry's is longer than ours.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben and Melissa had performed with us for years at the Groundlings and knew us as friends and writers and comedians. And I think that something.
What were you gonna say?
You talk so
the
fast.
Vote of,
why would anyone know what you were
confidence.
gonna say?
Vote of confidence, I think, helped TV Land, and then TV Land helped shape the show also. It was their idea to have the show be serialized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so going off of that, you guys write the show as well as star in it. So talk about plotting out the season of the show.
That was a legitimate challenge. I mean, we did not have experience doing that, and it was hard to know. Writing a serialized thing is tough, especially with jokes. Like, I mean, there are not that many serialized comedies that I'm aware of, especially heavily serialized the way ours is. All I know is we kept asking as we were writing it, and we never got a clear answer. But we would say, Larry every day practically would say, are we going to have those things like previously on? Because we couldn't even remember after a while what the hell was happening in each show. And then thank God they do have previously on at the beginning of these things. Because we would also, when we were acting it, we could never remember where we were in the story.
But we also had a very capable showrunner in Mike McDonald, who we all know from the Groundlings. And he was our director at the Groundlings and our teacher. And he helped us maybe touch on some territory that maybe we wouldn't have. You know, like the will they, won't they, the romantic entanglements that you
We
see.
never would have written that.
Yeah, and Mike helped push sort of the soap opera aspect, and I think it benefits the show.
Mm-hmm.
So then playing yourselves, I mean, what is that experience like? Was there ever a moment that was just rather uncomfortable for you as actors, or was it easy just being yourselves?
I did. I remember there was once we had to have fake photographs of my fake TV family. And I
watched those get taken.
Yeah.
It was
Very
disturbing.
uncomfortable.
And I had at the time he was a 4-year-old son. Now he's a 5-year-old son. But he looked at the photos and saw me, and the photos were kind of modeled after real family photos that I have in my actual home. And my son Henry looked at them and he was just like, "Oh, I guess Dad's not our dad anymore. Like he has a new family."
Same.
So that was a weird part. But yeah, you know, it was weird. Like we never really thought too much about using our last names. You know,
We didn't really think out any of it
Mm-mm.
because in real life we were in fact very excited to be getting to act. So we kind of would have agreed to anything short of pornography or murder, just to be in the show. And then we would have thought about the consequences afterwards. So it is funny, like we didn't consider any of this stuff. I mean, Rachel has like a practical sex scene in one thing. So we all had shots before that happened. You were practically nude in one shot. And Larry and I, after all our years writing in a cartoon, the three of us had not been around each other nude yet. So that was a first.
Yeah.
There were some firsts in this.
Speaking of writing for cartoons, in the show you guys write for this cartoon. What is it? The Fartmans?
Fartleman.
Fartlemans, yeah. How did you come up with that?
Well, I mean, we wrote on in real life a show called The Looney Tunes Show, and we really enjoyed it. And we were very proud of it.
It was a reboot of them. It wasn't the original.
I figured.
We're younger.
But we do there was sort of an element of that sort of gross potty humor that kids seem to respond to. So we thought we would play on that part of our experience writing on a kid's show. And then the name Fartlemans came because my grandparents actually have a family friend whose last name is Fartleman, who lives next door to them. So my whole life I've seen, and they have it on their mailbox. Like it's one thing for that to be your last name, but to put it on your mailbox and every day you just see Fartleman. And I just thought, oh, that's a tough name. So hopefully they're honored if they can.
Well, we're not making fun of it.
We're not making fun of it.
No, we're celebrating.
Yes.
You guys you have a lot of celebrity cameos in this show, oftentimes very uncomfortable situations that you're in with these guys, whether it's breaking Jason Bateman's knee or pitching your movie to Alice and Janney in an elevator. How do you guys, I guess, come up with these situations like that and talk about getting these famous people involved to come in and play themselves?
TV Land and anyone watching this show, I think it's like you might watch a show with 3 unknown actors in it, I guess, but after a while you got to see somebody you've seen on TV before. Otherwise you're gonna die on the vine with the 3 of us. So they wanted a celebrity cameo type aspect to the show, and it does seem built for it. I mean, even when you're working on a kid's cartoon, you're gonna be somewhere where you might see one of these people. The celebrities that are groundlings, we do know and are comfortable with, and those were more like those scenes at Groundlings or with Maya Rudolph. But the ones that you just mentioned, I think what makes them, one, Ben and Melissa just got those people because we don't know them at all. And there was a hilarious part where at one point when we were coming up with celebrities that were going to be on the show, Ben asked us if we knew anyone. And we were like, You and Melissa. Yeah, like, what are you, out of your mind? What do you think we're doing here? And so they always came from Ben and Melissa. And I think those scenes with Larry, Rachel, and I, they are uncomfortable because we do not know those people. I mean, Larry had to touch Alice and Janney, and it was so uncomfortable.
Because my hand was it was wet and ice cold like a dead person.
Yeah.
I thought you were dying.
Yeah, it was awful. But it was good because that's how I would be. That's how I was supposed to be.
But every time the celebrities were on, and they were all, I think, very nice. But they come on, they talk to Ben and Melissa, they do those scenes with us, and they leave, and the whole thing to us feels like, what just happened? I can't believe we saw that person. So I think there were always Ben and Melissa that made those things happen for us.
Well, I'm glad they did because they're rather funny. You know, throughout this show, I mean, you're watching these characters struggle to find their footing. There's a great deal of empathy, I think, that people can feel with that. Anybody who's ever tried to be writers or actors or comedians. I mean, can you talk a bit about finding that empathy within the stories?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm glad you feel that way. And I think it goes even further than anyone in the entertainment industry. I think anyone, it's just a very common feeling to compare yourself to someone else and think they have it easier. They, got a break that you didn't get, instead of realizing where you are and appreciating where you are. Writing on a kid's cartoon is a fantastic job. And we
loved it.
And we loved it. We all did it for many, many, many years. And it's only then when you're watching all of your friends at the Oscars, 2 of them winning, then you go, oh, did we not make it? And so I do think that's a relatable theme for anybody,
Mm-hmm. Well, now you guys do have an episode called Not the Emmys, which is rather funny, especially for us who work in the awards watching business. But I did want to bring up, Hugh, you have won an Emmy for Robot Chicken. What did that kind of recognition mean for you?
It's very funny.
You're normally wearing it.
On my head? We should have positioned it somewhere. You're right. It is. Now? It's in the garage. But it's funny because, like, at the time when I would write on Robot Chicken, those writing jobs are for a cycle at Robot Chicken, which was 6 weeks. And I wrote on it for a few seasons, but I would write on it one time a year. So for 6 weeks of a year, I felt like I was making it and doing good. And then the rest of the year, I was waiting tables at Jerry's Famous Deli. And I was an old waiter. And like going to the Emmys, I thought, this is going to change it. This is going to do something. And there's something so funny about it. Like, it was exciting to win, but I swear to God, like, it does nothing. There's no change in, like, you don't get paid anymore. I had ideas like, oh, I wonder if they give you a raise. They give you nothing. And Rachel is always making fun of it because it says best writing and it says something that makes it sound like a category that is rigged by your parents or something. And then it says the title of the show, which was Full-Assed Christmas Special. So the whole thing just seems embarrassing.
We used to have it in our office, but the label would be
but you guys didn't have any Emmys.
Well,
no one knows that.
One of us got it, then we all.
Well, that's very, very honest. So what were some highlights from this season for you guys, from the first season? I know there's a lot of episodes that are still left to air, but what are some of your favorites from this first season?
I really liked the one that just aired this last week with Kristen Bell. I thought that one was a really good one. Mm-hmm. And I truly do think that they just keep getting better and better as you get more invested with the characters and the worlds open up a little bit. I think kind of each week they just get better and better. Even
from a writing standpoint, when we started, this was a show that we were going to tell our story, the three of us as writers. And then as you do dig deeper into the scripts and as it goes, we learn more about Hugh's background, his life, and my family and Larry's family. And it is true, the world gets bigger, and I think those episodes are better. And I do think that's sort of starting right around now until the finale, which is also a very, hopefully a satisfying finale.
It's a great movie ending.
It's great.
It's never been done on.
Oh God, it's fine.
It's a new type of storytelling.
I mean,
There's nothing. It's fine.
We
You've
should
seen
make
it before.
room for another Oscar for the three of us.
Jesus Christ.
Well, congratulations, you three. It's a wonderful show, and I look forward to seeing more of it.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.